Hey everyone, it's Justine and welcome to a new video. Today I'm collaborating with Jenny and we are looking at ways to foil with or without a laminator and all the different possibilities. Today I'm showing off 5 different ways to do that, but after my video be sure to check out Jenny's video. Her channel is amazing and she really is one of my favorite card makers out there and she's just so talented. So let's get started. My first way doesn't use a laminator, and you can use any type of adhesive to adhere foil to your card. So I'm going to be using today some adhesive here, and this is sort of like a tissue tape style adhesive. I pulled it out of my stash. It's about a 1/2 inch, and you can use any size. You can use the thinnest of strips. It really doesn't matter. So I'm just laying it down in a diagonal pattern, leaving the same amount of spacing in between approximately. I'm just eyeballing everything. And I'm going to go ahead and tuck all of these extra pieces behind my cardstock just to make my life a little bit easier. Any sides that are sort of sticking out, I can trim with my scissors at the very end. So once all those are done, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to start peeling off all the adhesive. It's completely up to you how you want to do this. I like to do it this way where I peel it all off at once, mainly because I have it all tucked here behind on the back, and if I put it down on a piece on my glass mat or on some paper, obviously it's going to stick, create kind of a mess when I'm pulling it back up, because that's what happened the first time I tried to do this. This tape is really strong, which is good because you're going to get all that foil off, but it wasn't a good thing when I had it down on my craft mat because I ripped it when I lifted it up. So I'm lifting all of the tape off now, and then I'm going to put it onto my card base. I'm going to go in from the top and work my way down, and I'm just going to use a bone folder the first time. But I did find the bone folder left a little bit of a streak in the foil, so I'm just going to use my fingers, and I'm just adding this to each one, and I'm going to do a bit of a rainbow pattern. All the foil that I'm using today is from Therm, and all of this bright foil here is the Gina K Designs line. They also have a Deco foil line that has a ton of different colors, and I own probably all of them because I'm obsessed with foil. And I'm just going to go in and repeat this coloring as well, since I have more stripes than there are colors in the rainbow. So I think that also gives it a little bit of cohesiveness and looks really nice in the end. Anyway, so this is an easy way and a perfect way to use up any scraps, as you can see from my card. So that's my first impression here of how you could use your foils. So this is what the background looked like when it was all finished, and I'm moving into my second technique, which is another no laminator technique, and that's just doing some regular backgrounds with your foil. So I'm grabbing a piece of I have my card base already here actually, ready to go. I've glued a piece of foil just on top of it using liquid glue, and I've added a card panel that I've die cut this scallop heart die from Pretty Pink Posh out of. And so you can do this too, as long as I think if you have some paper over top, or you're using it behind a frame, I think it would be totally fine to use without having to laminate it. I think if you had it just bare and by itself on some paper, it would be easily torn up if it were on the front of a card. So I always like to have it behind a frame or some sort of protection. This is another way you can use it without a laminator. You can use as well a pen, a foiling pen from Deco Foil. However, I find that all the other things that I've tried with the no laminator technique, I haven't had the greatest results with, so I always like to show tried and true methods when I'm doing this. So I'm going to move into now some foiling techniques with a laminator. Just wanted to make a quick mention that I've always used a cheap Royal Sovereign laminator from Amazon. This is recommended by Gina K herself from Therm, the official foil makers, as being an amazing, affordable laminator that you can use with your projects. Now and again, though, I did find I got a little black dot or a little piece that wouldn't laminate. And again, that's not the end of the world with the foils, as you could barely notice. However, when I was at Crop and Create this year, I did try the Heidi Swap Minc, which is another laminator, but a little bit more on the pricier side. Now this is made specifically for foiling, and so far I've had perfect results every time, so I am showing that off. But a Royal Sovereign laminator will work perfectly fine if you're going to use that. Just got to think of how often you're going to laminate. The third thing I'm going to do is FOILMATES. And the FOILMATES here, I just simply take the FOILMATE pattern side up, foil color side up, and I slip it into a piece of parchment paper. I've ran it through my Minc Machine, and you can see here that it has now foiled all of those lines in a pretty pink color. Super easy and definitely budget friendly. The fourth one are toner sheets. Now, I love toner sheets because I can then foil every single one of my dies. The first thing I did was I went in and measured this cover plate die from Altenew. I have used this die so many times, I'm starting to wonder if I'll ever get sick of it. However, I haven't yet, and so it's definitely been an amazing investment. Now, I have now cut the toner sheet down, and I do recommend foiling the toner sheet then die cutting. When you die cut, a lot of the times it does a little bit of an embossed look on the edges of your dies because it's being pushed down by the metal into your paper. That area may have trouble being foiled because it's not at the same level as the rest of the cardstock. So what I like to do is I like to throw in my toner sheet paper into the laminator. This is the Pretty Minc. I have the largest size so I could do scrapbook pages if I wanted to, if I ever decide to get back into scrapbooking again. The smaller one would work as well for this. Now this foil, I have to say, is brand new and it's life-changing. Rainbow shattered glass. It is stunning. I absolutely love this. I used it twice in this video, one in the card in the end, and it is gorgeous. It takes about 20 seconds to run through your MISTI, and I recommend on about level 4 when using this. And you'll see when I take it off, it just is absolutely perfect onto that toner sheet, and it's ready to get die cutting. So I've now ran that through my Gemini Junior die cutting machine. Before this off screen, I did die cut this die once in white. I just want to say that you need to do that if you want to do this technique that I'm going to do. I'm going to keep all my pieces here in my die, and the reason being is that I want to keep everything relatively in place because I am going to do a 2-card paper piecing technique. This technique does require a bit of patience, but it's completely up to you whether you want to do it. I just didn't want to waste any little bit of this rainbow shattered glass foil because it's so gorgeous. I think I need to order myself like a pack of 200 of them, if that even exists. And so I didn't want to waste anything. Also, bonus, these toner sheets are peel and stick. So for those really large pieces, I just simply peeled off the back and put them on. For the smaller pieces, I just glued them on. So as I mentioned, I did die cut one of these in white beforehand, and I'm going to actually glue this one as well as the frame from the colored one later onto a card panel. So I'm getting 2 cards out of this. One of the panels is going to be a white flower and one of them is going to be that rainbow flower. And I'm going to be placing all of these pieces inside of the card. And as I mentioned, they are peel and stick, so I can take off the back if I want to, and I can add them in. Now I do recommend for the larger pieces to do this because you don't want the pieces separating at all. For the smaller ones, it really doesn't make that much of a difference, I don't think. And they absolutely beautiful. So I started with the largest pieces, then worked my way to the smaller ones. I'm not going to show you the entire card panel because that would take forever. It took me about 15 minutes in all reality. It really didn't take that long. Now you can see that I had the frame on the one side and the negative impression on the other, and these are 2 of my favorite cards I think I've created in a long time. I love these. The last one is with thermal gel, so you can go ahead and foil any one of your stencils. I'm still waiting on a way to foil my stamps, but let's not even go there as to how long I've been waiting on that possibility. But in the end, I can handle with being able to foil all my stencils and all my dies. So I'm using the Backsplash Stencil from Simon Hurley that's been also getting quite a workout in my craft room. I am going to tape this stencil onto the back of my cardstock as well as to my craft mat while I'm working. And I'm applying some thermal gel. I think finally I'm getting through my very first bottle of it, and don't worry, I've got about 3 more as backups. And so it lasts a long time. And I'm using this awesome, I don't even know what you would call this, scraper, I guess, from ThermoWeb. And I'm so excited about this because of the size. I really can get like over the whole stencil with one swipe if I were to use the other side of it. I was using the side of it for some reason for this video. But how awesome is that? It really is just going to guarantee that you get a good solid layer that's the same thickness. So you're going to want to remove the stencil, let it dry. It takes about a half hour. It'll go clear when it's dry, so you know. I'm going to place that gel side up, foil side up, fold my parchment paper and throw that through my Minc. I still just use the parchment paper with the Minc. I rarely use that big sheet of plastic that comes with it. You can see how awesome that is when it's completely foiled and how gorgeous. I love it. That is absolutely stunning foil, I have to say. And don't throw away this negative sheet because you could totally use it on a card, which I'm totally going to do right now. So I'm grabbing a bit of tape runner. I find this to be easier than grabbing some liquid glue, and you don't see it as much. And I'm gonna go and just place this directly over top of a card base, and I'll probably just throw a die cut on it on a future project, and it's all ready to go. Look how pretty that is. I absolutely love it. So those are my 2-for-1 cards out of that one as well. No waste on your foil. Seriously, that's the best. Well, thank you so much everyone for watching this video. I hope you learned a little bit of something about foiling and you're not too scared to try it out. Don't forget to check out Jenny's video. She has absolutely stunning projects for you there. The link is below in the video description. But I do have a suggested video here also on foiling, or you can subscribe to my channel if you're interested. Bye for now.